Thank you for that warm welcome. My name is Brett Edens, I'm from Jinx High School, and today I'd like to talk to you about a little something called habitat loss. Now before I get started, I'd like to state something that's a little bit more on the obvious side. Now we are very fortunate to live in the time that we do. With all the technical advancements and all of our luxuries, we're just so accustomed to them that we are oblivious to how they've become. We don't know what has been sacrificed just for us to have a better life. Many habitats around the world are being destroyed and fragmented everywhere due to all the construction with railways, roads, dams, and other industrial areas. Let's take paper, for instance. Something that we all use, right? Every day at school, at work. It's used literally everywhere. So much is wasted. And you know, to get paper, we have to cut down trees. And trees are homes to many species, and they hold a lot of food which other species may eat off of. And when we cut down one tree, all that makes is 8,333 pieces of paper. Now to put this into perspective, at a somewhat smaller school with only 100 teachers, they annually use about 250,000 pieces of paper. That means they are cutting down 30 trees every year for that one school. Now, a lot of people may not think that's a lot, but when you take 30 trees here, then 30 trees here, and 30 trees here, and that's just 3 small schools, think of how many schools nationwide who are much bigger than these schools, how many pieces of paper they're using. That is like millions of trees. And that's not good. That's taking away from so many habitats. And while this is always happening, animals everywhere are always endangered of being on the brink of existence. Now, extinction is something that is natural occurring. Something that even if we weren't here, it would still happen. But since we are here, we aren't really helping very much. Now, believe it or not, but we are in the middle of one of the biggest mass extinctions of all time. The 6th one in almost 500 million years. About a dozen species a day are disappearing from this earth because of all of our cutting down the trees and deforestation. It's not helping. And according to the UN FAO, about 18 million acres a year of forests are being cut down and being taken for ourselves. Now this takes a serious toll on places like the bamboo forest in China, where only 2% of those forests are even left intact, and only 0.1% is left properly protected. Now, unfortunately, the bamboo forest is the home of the endangered species name of the giant panda. Now, the giant panda only lives in 4 central places in China up in the mountains. They used to live in lower areas, but because of our deforestation and cutting down trees and everything that we do in their forests, they've had to reside up in the mountains, and they don't really even like to be up there. But they really don't like humans, so they would rather stay up there than come down. Today, giant pandas only exist in less than 1% of their historical range of where they used to live. Pandas are very shy animals. They would rather stay up in the mountains than go to any place that's inhabited by humans. They would rather starve up there, actually, than even come anywhere near humans. And where the problem lies is that as humans, we always have to have more. We're never satisfied. We always have to have more. And as Gandhi once said, Earth has enough to satisfy every man's need, but not everyone's greed. Bamboo's diet consists of like 99% of bamboo. And in order for them to get enough, they need to eat and forage for food for 16 whole hours. And for the remaining hours, they normally just sleep. Honestly, I mean, that is a lot of hours searching for bamboo. And for that to even be possible, there needs to be a lot of bamboo available to these animals. And that means they need to eat 20 to 40 pounds because there's not a lot of nutrients in these bamboo sticks. Unfortunately for pandas, bamboo is often known to die off periodically, just out of nowhere. And normally this wouldn't be too much of a problem because they could just migrate to another area where they could find more bamboo. But because of the forestation and all the fragmentations of their land, they will get blocked by civilization and don't know what to do, so they would sit there and literally starve. So when pandas are slowly going extinct, it also affects all of the other animals and plants in the forests. And when humans keep fragmentating the land of where pandas live, it makes it hard for males and females to find each other and make offspring, especially since there are only a little over 1,000 wild pandas left in the world. And if we can't help another species live on and we let them die out and extinct, and all around the world this continues to happen, how are we supposed to expect ourselves to be okay? Now that I've spent all this time talking about how we need to save pandas and how we need to stop doing this and that, you might be asking yourself, why are pandas important and what do they do for us and the rest of the world? Well, you see, it turns out that pandas are actually very important to the forest. What they do is they go out and they feed on bamboo, and they swallow those seeds and they digest them, and whenever they roam around everywhere, they spread those seeds everywhere, and then more bamboo grows and more vegetation is able to grow easier. And so as you see these numbers in pandas decrease, all the vegetation will also decrease, causing other animals' numbers to decrease because those animals are dependent on these plants as well. The sooner we can find a way to not industrialize so far and spread out so far into these environments, and the sooner that we find an alternative for paper like computers, then the sooner we can see pandas and all other endangered species in the wild. Thank you.